If I may start, President say, these are your soldiers ready for combat. They are just about to undertake a mission to go and repatriate some of our students in Hubei province. Colleagues, fellow officers, the Commander-in-Chief is here to come and say a few words to you and give you some words of encouragement.
Yeah. Well, you all look very serious, like real soldiers. I'm always fearful of soldiers. They look too serious. But tonight you shouldn't be looking that serious. We're here with Minister of Defense and Minister of Health to come and say thank you. Thank you to you as our soldiers for undertaking this mission. We're delighted that you heeded the order to go out and repatriate our fellow South Africans who are out in China. You are our patriots. We are proud of you. This is an important mission for the whole nation. The entire nation will be looking at how you execute this mission. It will be looking how you bring back our young people and bring them back home. So you are going on an important mission to bring home our fellow South Africans. And I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being available, for being combat ready, for being committed to go out and execute this mission. We're so proud of your commitment and your total ability to go out and do this. It's going to be a testing mission because once you've obeyed the order, you know very well, as soldiers, you've got to comply with the dictates of the military. But on your way back, you've got to stay with those students for the entire quarantine period. We thank you for being willing to give up the comforts of your family life, the comforts of your normal daily lives, but you are doing it to ensure that those young people come back. So your patriotism is what really is most touching to us. We thank you for that. And we knew that once the order is given, you would always be ready to go out and execute the order. And as I look at all of you, I know that that is the determination that is driving you. And I want you to go out there knowing that you're carrying the hopes of all South Africans. All South Africans will be looking at how this mission is executed. So we want you to go with speed. We want you to go with a warm feeling of patriotism, of love for our fellow citizens who are out there, who are rearing to come back home. And we responded to the calls and the requests from the parents of the young people who are out there and from the young people themselves. And we were duty bound as a nation, as a country, to go out and bring them home. And this is now the hour and the moment that has arrived for you to take off tonight and go bring them home. And we know that you will be able to execute this mission without any hitches, without any hiccup, because we know that as South African soldiers, you've always been ready at any hour, any time of the day to execute tasks that you're given by your government. And you've done that before, and you're going to do it again, and you will continue doing it even into the future. And that is why I always say that the South African National Defence Force, the soldiers, the sailors, the airmen and women are the pride of the nation. You are indeed the pride of the nation. You are not only trained to defend the nation, but you are also trained to execute developmental tasks. And this one is a task of a humankind to go and bring back our children from China. And we know that the Chinese government will open its doors and enable you to execute this mission, and we thank them for allowing us to do precisely this. So we want you to go with speed, with God, and bring our children back home. And for you, I wish strength, I wish you the energy and the vigilance that you require as you bring them back home. So thank you very much for having taken on this mission. I guess in a way you had no choice, because once the commander-in-chief says go, as a soldier you have no choice. You know you have to go. But nonetheless, we still thank you that you are the command-obeying soldiers of our South African National Defence Force. Guys and girls, we are very proud of you. And thank you so much. I'd like to thank General Shoke for having done all the preparations, and indeed the members of the military command for having taken on this task. But I also want to thank the Minister of Defense for having given the guidance and the leadership. I also want to thank Minister of Health, Dr. Mkhize, for having in the end been the epicenter, together with the Minister of Defense, the epicenter of the execution of this. Right now, from the day we decided to bring them back, and through the time we've been getting incidents of coronavirus, he is carrying a huge and heavy burden on his shoulders. We all wish him strength. We all wish him the very best of energy levels as he goes through this. He's still going to have testing times, and I know both of them are not going to sleep, including the general, until the plane lands back. So please make sure you bring the plane back so that they can sleep. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Before President Minister comes in, President, I want to guarantee you that we're not going to bring sick people here. Yes. We're bringing healthy people back to South Africa. Yes. So I want to assure you that, President say.
Well, let me actually do say, and the Minister of Health will say, the 121 or so people that we're bringing back are all healthy. They are not sick. We need to make that very clear to the entire nation. We are not going to fetch disease-ridden people out of China. We're bringing back our healthy young people whose parents, who are all like us, have said we would like our children to come back. Many of us are parents, and the familial feeling kicks in and say, I'd like my child to come back. And the government has to be on hand, as it must for all South Africans, to bring them back. So they are not sick. When they come back, we've all announced and agreed that we're going to put them in quarantine, and there will be a lockdown, which will be supervised by the Defense Force, and there will also be health people, just to take any doubt out. Now I want to assure South Africans that there is no sick person we are bringing back. There is no sickness that we are bringing back. And those who might have concerns that the quarantine area, which we are not going to disclose now, may be too close to where they live, I can assure you that no disease is going to spill out of that area, because they are not sick, and we just making absolutely certain. And let me end by saying, I've toured the facility here at the airport. I've seen exactly the level of preparedness from a health point of view, but also from an airport logistical point of view. I've been hugely impressed with the way our officials, both from the airports company, Port Health, Department of Health, and including our soldiers here who are stationed here, have been prepared for the influx of people who come in. They check them thoroughly, and I'm told that some of the passengers who've come through have actually been amazed at the strict level of examination that we are demonstrating here. They say when they travel elsewhere in their own countries, they don't meet the same level of strict examination, but here there are various layers and stages, and so I've been very impressed, and I can now say that here we are prepared, and the Department of Health has also gone out of its way. They've pulled out all stops, and they continue to do so to make sure that South Africa is ready to deal with this coronavirus. And obviously, because it is spreading around the world, we will continue having incidents. But what is impressive is our ability to follow up, to look at everyone who may have been in touch with people and may have infected other people. So I want to congratulate or thank the Minister once again, Minister of Health, for the level of preparedness that they have brought to our country. Over to you, Minister.
Thank you, President. I'm sure you would like to say something, but I think it's proper that we should really thank you, Commander-in-Chief. It's not often that Commanders-in-Chief come in when soldiers are preparing literally to go to battle, because for me this is a battle for you. This is a team, these are people who have been doing, you'll recall during the Nigerian incident.
Yes.
We had our soldiers who had to go and fetch and identify even limbs of people who died in Nigeria. So that's the kind of team you have here. I would like to say to South Africans, thank you for the support. I'm saying this wholeheartedly because, President, I was touched by the fact that at a time when there was a very silly rumor that your forces are refusing to go and fetch our own from China. But I listened to a radio interview from from a union which gives us problems in the South African National Defence Force, from Sandu. And I listened to Friki, and I listened to what he had to say about the capacity of the South African National Defence Force, its state of readiness. Actually saying to South Africans, he is aware that for the past 2 weeks, you have been waiting, you've been ready, and so on. And I said, wow, because this is a South African problem, all of us hands on deck. And what he said to the South African people was, have confidence in the South African National Defence Force. I think we should really, when people say good things, we should actually commend them for that, because it's not often that they say good things about us. So thank you very much, colleagues. I'm happy for you that the President is here to see you off. I think it is good, officers. But of course it is true that, President, we won't sleep from now on. We'll be counting hours. We've not been sleeping. Minister has not been sleeping, and I think we've had fights as well at times, misunderstandings and so on, because I couldn't understand why you are ready and you couldn't take off. Now you are taking off. We are very happy. Minister, thank you for your support. Chief,
Yes.
I do want in the presence of the Commander-in-Chief to say thank you. It was difficult. Up until a few minutes ago, President. Thank you very much. And we do appreciate the media when the media reports good stories. We have good stories to tell. There's sometimes negativity, but right now there's a good story to tell. That here are members of the South African National Defence Force moving together, that we've been collaborating. There's been collaboration amongst many government departments, and now they are leaving. We should also thank Mr. President, the SAA team which is here with us. They are here. I hear the crew is that side waiting for the President, but the people who are helping us please wave your hand so that the president can see you. Literally, President, that's the team when they were approached about making an aircraft available, they did not hesitate to do so. We should really express a word of gratitude for that. We also know they will not sleep too. They'll be counting hours together with us. So it was good. It was a collaborative effort. It showed what South Africans can do when working together. It was a good partnership. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. President.
Say something medical.
Mr. President, first, I would like to thank you specifically because this whole mission comes out of the fact that the President gave us a directive and has always been receptive and willing to guide us in terms of what needs to be done. So now that we are here, we are also very pleased that at short notice, President was willing to come and see the team as the team left. We really feel very much appreciative and grateful. So I want to say thank you very much. And just for giving the motivation to this team, you know, so President, I must also admit, I now wish like I was part of that because of the, you know, the emotion that your very warm words has actually evoked. So we're really very grateful for that. I want to also thank President for the assignment, the ministers, the team that is working. We work like just one team. One who is not here is Minister Naledi Pando, Minister Mutwaledi, Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, Minister Dlodlo, Minister Kubai, Ngubane, yes, and the deputies, Deputy Pasha, and the other deputies, they've all worked as a team. And so we feel that, you know, the work that we have to face, you know, with the support that we get from President and the rest of the colleagues, makes it much, much easier to carry the task. I also want to thank the Defense Force Minister and the Chief. Now, the Chief of the Army, he knows...
Defense Force.
The Defense Force.
Sorry, of the Defense Force. Yes. The Chief of the Defense Force, we call him any time of the day or night, and he picks up the phone. If he's in a meeting, he will call you back. And we've actually had nothing but pleasure in working through this process. Not an easy one to do within these time frames, but we're very pleased to say, we did say that this thing must be pulled off within 7 to 10 days. We're around day 8 today, yeah. President. So we're fine with it. So I want to say thank you, the Surgeon General in charge of the, General Tabula. He also has been all over the 84 sites. He's been all over himself.
Come.
Yes.
He must also the Secretary of Defense. That's right. He's the one who signs the money. He's the one. As though President, you know, when he was reminded, we're all calling SecDev. Have you signed? SecDev has everything. And SecDev said, wait, I'm going to do it. And so they've done very well. So we're very, very grateful for the whole Defense Force, particularly this team here and the Military Health Services who are going to be helping us as we move on. I also want to thank the colleagues in the Department of Health, the Acting Director General, the Port Health team, the NICD team, the National Health Laboratory Services, and the MECs and heads of department. This is one team again that's moving around. We're tracing people on this COVID-19 and we phone each other. Now we don't sleep. Every night, every time of the day, we're calling each other. So for us, this is a very important time for all of us as South Africans to work together because we will be able to deal with this problem. It's a virus, President. It's a viral infection, and really it's a self-limiting viral infection, which basically means the body deals with it. So what we do is supportive care. If you come in sneezing, we'll treat the sneeze. If you come coughing, we treat the cough. If you get a pneumonia, if you are sick, we do that. We treat that. Then we allow the body over the first 2 weeks to actually destroy the virus. We call it viral shedding,
So for normal, healthy people, that actually tends to burn itself out. We don't treat the virus itself. There's no direct treatment for it. So all we're asking our people is just to understand this hygiene, and then in the process, we keep the people healthy so that they can deal with the virus. This team is just collecting people from South African citizens. None of them have reported sick. And Mr. President, I can also say, out of the 80,000 people that were infected in China, none of them is South African. And of the people who are in South Africa, none of them got an infection from China yet that we have found. And therefore, it's very, very important to say there are lessons that we're taking from China, as it were. The cooperation that they've given us, we appreciate. So this team is going to go and fetch people who are well. We will keep screening them to check. If we find someone has got an infection, we'll take them out and take them for treatment. So in the area where they're going to be quarantined, it's as a health requirement that they come from an area that had a very high infection rate. Whilst they are not sick, we want them to wait there. We will want to watch the symptoms. If they don't appear, this evidence of the virus, if it doesn't appear. When we are done with that, we'll test them again, and then we'll let them go home. So there isn't anything to fear, and there's nothing. But when they go there, they'll actually be given protective gear. In case there's anything, we'll be able to pick it up before it affects them. Like all the staff that we're having in our hospitals, they're very experienced, and they're not even worried. In some instances, they were telling me that, oh, the patients are well, they must go home, we'll watch them from home. So we want South Africans not to panic. We can manage this issue together. So one more time, Mr. President, thank you very much for everything. Thanks for the support.
Thank you. Well, let me end by saying it's really wonderful to work with a team of colleagues on the cabinet, the ministers who've been involved in all this. The collaboration and the cooperation was just simply wonderful. When the whole coronavirus issue started rising and the minister came to report to me, he was supposed to leave to go to some conference Thailand, some NHI conference. And I said, Minister, you are not going. You stay put. He doubted for a while. He says, are you sure, President? I said, you are going nowhere. Stay here. And as it turned out, it was just as well, because the whole thing just started rearing its head. And it's really wonderful to have a cooperative team like this where we share information on an ongoing basis and where they work together and where they also give me instructions. I was on my way to Cape Town, flying from Waterkloof, and the minister called me and he says, President, thank you very much for everything that you've been doing. I have a request on my knees. I said, what is it? He says, please come and say goodbye to the people who are going. So I've been given instructions by the minister. So they instruct me around. So, but it's wonderful. Thank you very much to all of you, and thank you for being here as well.
We'd like to make a request, though, that President, you take a picture with the team, which is leaving.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I would like. I was going to ask.
And I'm sure, Mr. President, South Africans will understand why I need more budget. Okay, guys, we support you. We support you. Come, stand around, guys. Let's take a picture. Let us move squad.
On squad.
The short ones. It's wonderful.
Sir, there's a spot there. Sorry.
I didn't want to come because I was afraid they're going to quarantine me.
Your Excellencies, we shooting?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Oh, sir?
1 second. 1 second. Is he doing another one? Oh, sorry. I wanted to shake hands.